Shalom, everybody. Hi, it's me, Vanessa Malave, and welcome to Moving on Faith. And it is Think About It Thursday. Now, this segment is created for you to think. That's right. Use your brain, folks. So, I like to talk about different topics. Sometimes they deal directly with the Bible via scripture, and sometimes it's something that's happening in or just society or our world, or again, just things that we need to think about or you should be thinking about, right? Question everything. So, the topic I want to talk about today is why, right? Why has the government and government agencies, specifically the Welfare Assistance Program, why have they constructed their eligibility requirements to essentially remove the man, the husband, the father from the household, right? Let's get into this. So, I started doing some research on this because I wanted to really educate myself, and I stumbled upon this really awesome website, which I will link this article. It's an article that this man wrote, and he's a senior researcher for the Center for Health and Welfare Policy, so he knows what he's talking about, and he has statistics, he has charts, he has everything. So I'm going to link the link in the description box so you can check that out and read the full article. But I am actually just going to pick a couple of things from here that really stuck out to me, and then I'm going to talk about it. Okay, so I'll go right into it then. Historically, marriage has played a critical role in the raising of children. In most cases, the economic benefits of marriage are substantial. Marriage among families with children is an extremely powerful factor in promoting economic self-sufficiency, the ability of families to support themselves above poverty without reliance on government means-tested welfare aid. The reason for this is simple and straightforward. In most cases, two parents working together can support a child more efficiently than one. For example, and then he gives you different charts that you can look at. Now, some of the benefits of married fathers for children. Marriage provides a positive impact well beyond self-sufficiency, but the positive effects of marriage are not limited to self-sufficiency. Children raised by married parents have substantially better life outcomes compared with similar children raised in single-parent homes. When compared with children in intact married homes, children raised by single parents are more likely to have emotional and behavioral problems, be physically abused, smoke, drink, and use drugs, be aggressive, engage in violent, delinquent, and criminal behavior, have poor school performance, be expelled from school, and drop out of high school. Many of these negative outcomes are associated with the higher poverty rates of single mothers. In many cases, however, the improvements in child well-being that are associated with marriages persist even after adjusting for differences in family income. This indicates that the father brings more to his home than just a paycheck. Okay. Now, if you know anything about the welfare system, obviously, some of these are requirements, right? There's a certain income that is required. Now, with one person, okay, it makes sense to like have those income issues, right? If you're a single parent. But when you have two parents living in the home, there shouldn't really be, it is really, really difficult for you to meet that income requirement. So in essence, it kind of puts you in a position where it's like, okay, do we need the help? Because if we do, well, essentially this is what I'm imagining people are thinking. Not get married, not have a marriage or whatnot, and receive those type of benefits. Now, so the statistics in regards to the proof of how detrimental it really is for children to have the parent outside of the home and being raised by a single parent is, I mean, it's just incredible. And as someone who was raised by a single parent for the majority of my life, and knowing and having many friends and family members who fit that mold as well, for me personally, I can tell you like quite a bit of those things were true. Per my own testimony. Now, does that mean everybody who's raised by a single parent is just gonna be like, you know, a poop show, for lack of better words? No, right? There are those who are going to excel and who are going to do very, very well for themselves, and are being really, have been nurtured, even though it's by one parent, but nurtured well enough that they are able to succeed as adults. However, there are those, and we can't deny it, there are those of us who were raised by single parents who if we don't suffer from in regards to success, there are other things that were areas where we suffer, where it may be emotional baggage, or learning how lack of able to, like, the lack of capacity to handle our emotions, or lack of communication skills, or lack of anger control, emotion control, right? So all of these type of things can also play into it as well. So it's not just about, like, are you going to grow up and make a lot of money? Like, who cares about that? But what kind of person are you going to become, and how does it affect your child by having one person in the household? Now, I will also just give a little bit more of the history. So this whole thing about, government assistance is started with in the early 1960s, and it was called the War on Poverty. So he talks about this, and he says the war on poverty and the decline of marriage, right? So throughout history, having marriage, the establishment of marriage, a mother and a father in the home raising the children, was the standard. This was the norm. Prior to the mid-1960s, nearly all children were born to married couples. Okay, so there were very seldom single parents, children born out of wedlock. When the war, quote unquote, war on poverty began in 1964, only 7% of children were born to unmarried women. However, over the next 4.5 decades, the share of non-marital birth exploded. In 2013, 41% of all children born in the U.S. were born outside of marriage. That's nearly 50% of all children born were born out of wedlock. Okay? That's incredible. I mean, the numbers are staggering. So, again, you can read the full article, and I will post it. It's so much information, I don't even want to. Okay, so here's the thing. Do you think it's by accident that certain eligibility requirements were put in place in order to remove the father from the household? No, absolutely not. See, those eligibility requirements, said it right that time. Those eligibility requirements were strategically put in place in order to remove the male, the husband, the father, the leader, the protector out of the household. This was done on purpose. Why? Because the man being in the household, the man as the husband, not as the booty call, okay? Not as the guy who doesn't work but sits on your sofa and waits for you to get home while he's eating all of your kids' cereal. Not that guy, okay? A real man, okay? Your husband, the leader of your home, the protector of you and your children and your home, right? The father of your children. And when I say father of your children, they might not even be his children biologically, but if he treats them and raises them and protects them and provides for them as his own child, they're his children, point blank, okay? And so here's the thing. Men who fit that mold, it's so important to have them in the household. Why? Because those type of men can lead their families spiritually. Those men are spiritual leaders because they have an entire family's souls and salvation resting on their shoulders. So they are putting forth the work that is required of them in order to make sure that their family are aligned with Yah. This was the standard before the 1960s. This was what it was. Talk to people who were, around that time. Your grandparents or your great-grandparents. What type of household did they have? What type of household did their families or their parents have? I'm quite sure it was a married household. This was the standard. Okay, the male was the spiritual leader, and he was able to keep his family in alignment with Yah, always seeking salvation and always honoring Christ, right? Now, you remove the man out of the home, or rather you demolish, you attack and demolish the ideals of marriage, right? And then less people are getting married, but guess what? People are still having sex, so they're still having children, and now you're producing children out of wedlock who are now suffering in situations because they don't have both parents, but not just both parents, but strong parents, a strong father and a strong mother who can now raise them and rear them the way they are supposed to be raised. Okay, so all of this goes full circle. And specifically, even more so, not only has this been an attack, and don't get it twisted, when I say the government, behind all of the powers that be, whether it's the government, whether it's all the billionaires in the world, the people who control healthcare, the people who control the banks, the people who control all types of policies and laws, let's keep it 100, right? I'm not talking about the person. These people have no power. What they do have is Hasatan. They have the adversary. They have Satan, who is orchestrating all of this, and he's using these individuals living in their lawlessness. He is able to use them to construct this system where it is simply killing Yah's children every single day, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Okay? This is all constructed by the God of this world, Satan. He is the God of this world. That is why we as believers are called to be in the world, but not of the world. Okay? So, again, Satan has constructed this whole thing. And should you fall into his snare, well, the outcome is that it brings the destruction of your child. Okay? We see more and more kids being killed younger and younger. We see more and more kids killing younger and younger. This is a complete annihilation and desolation of life. Okay? And this is not done by accident. This is done on purpose. Every single thing that is happening has been done on purpose. And like I said, there is a full-blown, not only attack on marriage, but there is an attack on men. There is an attack on our men, okay? They have been given drugs, alcohol, and pornography, and then they have been told that they are not allowed to be masculine or strong or tough or leaders or outspoken. They are not allowed to stand up for what they believe in. They are to sit in the corner and let their wives do the talking for them. This is the world we are living in, folks. This is a world that is not being led by Yah. Okay? So this whole talk about the welfare system is far greater than that. This is a talk about the desolation of marriage, the destruction of marriage, and this is a talk about the attack on our men. So what are we going to do about it? Think about it. Pray on it. Meditate on it. I know what I'm going to do about it. I'm going to continue cleaving to the word. I'm going to continue cleaving to the instructions that Yah left for me and for my family, and we are going to walk in his ways. We are going to seek him in everything that we do. I'm going to honor my husband as he is my master and my Lord. And I know wholeheartedly and with full confidence that he is following after Yah in all his ways. Okay, and together we will lead our children in the ways of Yah. This is how we save ourselves. This is how we save our children. This is how we save everyone, is through the word of Yah, through his instructions, through his Torah. Okay? There's not enough Martin Luther Kings and Malcolm X's in the world to ever change anything. You want change? Change your spirit. And then after you change your spirit, change your walk. Because let me tell you something. There's a church on every corner of every town, and yet crime and violence and murder and death is increasing daily. How is this happening? If there are so many churches all over the place and so many people going to these churches, how is evil increasing? Because no real change is happening there. Because Yah is not there. He is in the word. And he requires not only your faith, but your obedience. Should you obey his word, and should you teach your children to obey his word, I promise you, all of the atrocities we're seeing would decrease. But that's not going to happen. Not for a little while. A few more things have to happen, but that's a different discussion. Anyway, it's Think About It Thursday, folks. I hope you think about it. Shalom.